All right, welcome on back, everyone, to another episode of First CSP, the channel dedicated to bringing you the first council shoulder patch issued from each council in Scouting America, both past and present. Today, we're going to take a look at President Gerald R. Ford Field Service Council 781 out of Michigan. The council was originally formed in 2012 as the merger of Gerald R. Ford and Scenic Trails Councils. Super excited about this, as this has been a first issue we have had a long time trying to track down. Heading over to the patch table, we have here the SA1 with its yellow border, light blue sky, yellow and white scout emblem. It does say at the top, President Ford Council, and then at the bottom, building a stronger future. And the flag does extend all the way to the bottom. That will be important when we're looking at subsequent issues and making differentiations on identification. But the key point for this one is that this is an error in that it says President Ford Council and does not say President Ford Field Service Council, which I believe is what was intended and why it is listed as an error. Now, I'm not entirely sure as to why it's listed as an SA1, as an activity issue. The other thing that is unknown, and maybe a viewer out there might have more information about this issue, is the production run. Oftentimes in the most recent collecting guide, they do have estimates for the production runs of the CSPs. This is one that there is just no number listed, and so we didn't even know how many existed to be searching for one. Fortunately, we were able to obtain one recently, so we're excited about that. I'm not sure if a estimated or assumed lower production run is why this is considered an activity issue and not a regular issue. Generally, regular issues you would think of being produced in larger numbers most of the time, so that they could be, regular uniform wear, etc. But there are a lot of inconsistencies over the years of collecting. Obviously, CSP collecting has been going on for almost 55 plus years, and so there are some inconsistencies, I guess, on how things are labeled or how things are chosen to be labeled. This is not at all a criticism of collecting authors. It's just my own curiosity as to why this was potentially listed as an SA1 and not just an S1. Taking a look at the back, it's got just a plain plastic back. It is also a bit smaller as far as its size. I'm going to leave this one up towards the top for comparison's sake. We do actually happen to also have the SA2, which is a very different patch, but you can find that several of their first issues did say President Ford Council and not President Ford Field Service Council, and all of them in the collecting guide as such are listed as errors, I believe, because of that. So this is the SA2 with its blue border, red, white, and blue background, yellow fleur-de-lis, white name, President Ford Council, September 11th, Scout Salute 2012. We will never forget. This one was a lower production run. They list an estimate of 60 to 70, so you don't see quite as many of these, but this is the SA2. Same clear plastic back, so probably the production run was ordered the same time as the SA1, as the style of manufacture does seem to be similar. Then after that, a later patch was found and inserted, so we have a PA2:1 that says President Ford Council turning youth into leaders for over 100 years. I've never seen this patch. They do estimate between 180 and 200 were made. It is a P patch, so we expect it would be a sublimated design. And then we get to the SA3. SA3 is the first one where we're going to see President Ford Field Service Council actually listed. So it's got its yellow border, light blue sky, yellow and white scout emblem, yellow name, President Ford Field Service Council, building a stronger future. This was listed as an auction donation. The donation requirement for the fundraiser was $250. and it's important to note again the flag extends to the bottom of the patch. This does not have a designation of error because it now says Field Service Council, but I do wonder if the intent was that the flag goes to the bottom, because we're going to see in subsequent designs they did change, they did amend that. This is listed obviously as an activity issue because it was a fundraiser, a donation fundraiser patch. Again, so the same imagery as we see on the SA1, this is now the SA3. We don't get to the first regular issue until we go all the way down to S6. We do happen to have an S6. Again, the design is the same here for the S6. Oh, I did not show you the back. We do have a scout backing on the SA3. Appears it was produced by Raven Associates. So that is the back here on the SA3, again, where the flag extends to the bottom of the patch. That is an important distinction because when we get to the S6, we have the same yellow border, light blue sky, yellow with white scout emblem, yellow name, President Ford Field Service Council, building a stronger future, and now the flag no longer extends to the bottom of the patch. This is listed as the first regular issue, the S6. As you all know, longtime viewers of the channel, we always, for our collection, try to collect the first issue. This is the SA1. When it's an activity issue, we try and collect the first regular, and that would be the S6. S6 also has a plastic scout back, a little different than the last one. It is the 1910 scout back. So you can get that focused a little bit. There you go. Right after the S6, they also have an S7, which appears by the description to be the same patch with a tan border. I have not seen an image of that either. So I don't think it's because it's limited in quantity. You don't always necessarily see things come up and become available, so we haven't happened to see that one. I did not mention at the intro, but as far as the history for the council, I believe that President Ford Field Service Council was essentially dissolved in about 2021 as the Michigan Crossroads Council assumed control as the council for the entire area up there. If you know more about that or want to list more about the council and that history, feel free. I'm certainly not an expert on the organizational structure within the region there between the Michigan Crossroads Council and the Field Service Councils that did exist, but then I believe have now been dissolved, etc. So that would generally mean that the President Gerald R. Ford Field Service Council existed from 2012 essentially to 2021. So there you have it. We have left up here on the patch table the very first issue listed as an SA1. If you happen to know why that's listed as an activity issue, feel free to chime in below. Again, that's more just my curiosity. It's not a criticism at all. And then we've got the first regular issue, most notably that the flag does not extend to the bottom. That helps you identify the difference between what you'll see most commonly available, and that is the SA3, flag goes to the bottom, and the S6, where the flag does not go to the bottom. So if you're looking for President Ford Field Service Council CSPs, you're going to see those two more often than just about anything else. All right, that's the first issues for President Ford Field Service Council. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. I have really enjoyed making this episode because it was very difficult for us to find one of these, and we're excited to be able to finally bring one to you on the channel. With that, remember, we are back every single day with brand new episodes. We'll be back tomorrow with another new episode as well. We hope to see you then. We want to thank you for making us a small part of your day today. Make sure to like and subscribe if you are not. That really does help the channel, and we really do appreciate that support here. With that, thank you again for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.